So what if everything that we've known about alcohol addiction treatment has been wrong, or at very least outdated? Hear me out. So my name's Katie. I've been a recovery coach in the field of alcohol addiction for about 5 years, and I'm also a former alcoholic. And I say the word former because of the alcohol treatment that I used that honestly left me feeling completely cured of my alcohol addiction. And I know I'll probably get people in the comments saying there's no such thing as a former alcoholic, that I'll always be an alcoholic and maybe I'm delusional. But that's what I wanted to talk about in this video, really with regards to how the alcohol addiction treatment field has evolved and progressed in the last several decades. But the mindset of the mainstream collective with regards to how we approach alcohol addiction treatment really hasn't. It's still kind of stuck in the mindset from 100 years ago where, once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. It's a disease or a character defect. And, you've got to go to AA meetings and that's the only way to go about it. Now, I don't knock AA. My own dad is sober from AA, so I'm really glad this program still exists. But I think what I want to convey today is that it's not the only treatment program that is out there for alcohol addiction. However, I think a lot of people, myself included, believe that it's the only option. And so when they go to it and they try it and it doesn't work for them, they get really, really discouraged. And oftentimes what I've seen with many of my clients is that it just continues to keep them stuck in cycles of alcohol addiction and drinking and relapse, and they never really get better because they keep going to this same treatment program that is not effective for them. And their drinking just seems to be getting worse. So in the last 30 plus years or so, there's been a lot of advances in neuroscience research and really understanding how alcohol addiction develops in the brain, and also how we can actually reverse it using science-based treatment protocols, which I am a success story of. The treatment that I used is called the Sinclair Method, and it's a really powerful treatment that's been researched since the 90s, and it works over time by taking a medication paired with drinking. So you start the treatment while you're still drinking, and over time what happens is that medication helps the brain to unlearn alcohol use disorder. And the reason that it does that is because when somebody drinks on the medication naltrexone, it's actually blunting or blocking some of the rewarding effects of alcohol. It's not the same as antabuse. It doesn't make you sick. It just makes drinking a little bit less rewarding and a little bit less interesting. And for me, it was a gradual process. I still very much enjoyed drinking for a lot of the time that I was on this treatment. I was on it for a year. But I just saw myself starting to have more and more control, where I could stop after a couple of drinks and I didn't want to drink every day. And I just wasn't craving or thinking about alcohol as much anymore. One of the common questions people have about naltrexone is whether or not it's addictive, and it's not addictive, so it's not habit forming. There's no risk to becoming addicted to this medication through this treatment, and it's also generic, so it's very affordable in most parts of the world. One of the reasons that this treatment is also so revolutionary is that it allows people to start the treatment while they're still drinking. And this is really powerful because for a lot of people who are stuck in cycles of alcohol addiction, maybe they've tried to go abstinent and quit drinking, but they end up relapsing due to alcohol craving, or they just can't imagine never drinking again. And it kind of keeps them stuck in the cycle of alcohol addiction without any other options. So this treatment is really gentle because people start it while they're still drinking alcohol, and over time it helps them gradually cut back on drinking because it's working to gradually reverse the alcohol addiction inside of the brain, which is really the root cause of what's driving someone to drink compulsively over time, really due to changes that have happened in the brain. And I think that's a really big challenge for a lot of us with abstinence-based treatments, is that, we want to quit drinking, we want to get this issue under control, but when we quit, we find that we crave alcohol and we think about it a lot, and whether it's a few days, weeks, or months later, we end up relapsing just because the desire and the compulsion to drink is so overwhelming. It's like we lose control and we just have no say in whether or not we're going to drink. It's almost like something else is controlling us, and that is the addiction. But that's really what is incredible about this treatment. As I've said, is that it can work over time to actually reverse the alcohol addiction inside of the brain. And when that happens, what happens to people is that their craving for alcohol gradually fades away. The interest that they have in drinking goes away. So for me, I just didn't think about drinking anymore. I didn't really care about alcohol. And if and when I would drink, I would have 1 or 2 drinks and be done with it. The longer I was on this treatment, the less I was consuming alcohol. And after about a year on the treatment, I ended up going alcohol free, really because I just have no interest or desire to drink, which is really a sharp contrast for me compared to when I would try to quit drinking before this treatment. I would just be white knuckling it and forcing it and really resisting an urge to drink every single day, where with this treatment, I just don't care about alcohol anymore. I don't have a desire to drink whatsoever. And also with this treatment, the medication is only taken when someone is consuming alcohol, so 1 hour before drinking. And so since I haven't drank alcohol in 5 years, I also haven't taken the medication in 5 years, and the results have lasted. They have been permanent. So I just wanted to share this today because I think a lot of people out there still believe or are only aware of kind of one way to recover from alcohol addiction, and that's typically an abstinence-based 12-step program like Alcoholics Anonymous. That's what's in all the rehab centers, and if you go to your doctor, oftentimes that's what they're going to tell you to do. And again, not to knock that treatment. My dad is sober because of it. I'm very glad it exists, but there's a lot of people out there who Alcoholics Anonymous and rehab just does not work for. You see people who are in and out of rehab and they can't stay sober, or in and out of AA and they can't stay sober. And so for those individuals, this is a really viable treatment option that has tons of clinical research behind it the last 3+ decades. And actually the Sinclair Method protocol, through all of the clinical trials that were done, has a clinically proven 78% success rate. So it's an incredibly powerful treatment. It's an incredibly effective treatment. I just want people to know that these options are available and they exist. If you're struggling with alcohol, you can learn more about this treatment with my other videos. Also, the link in my profile. Again, it's called the Sinclair Method. The medication that's used is called naltrexone. And following this protocol, naltrexone is taken 1 hour before drinking. I also have lots of videos on YouTube. You can do your own research and Google everywhere else. I'm really passionate about this treatment, and I've been an advocate for it for about 6 years now. That's when I started it in 2017. I just couldn't believe how transformational it was and how powerful it was at helping me overcome alcohol addiction finally, that I started making videos and just talking about it, and I haven't stopped talking about it since. So I hope this helps even just one person. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.